Courtney with WinBeta, and today we're going to take a look at Dell's newest revision of the XPS 15. The XPS 15 is the logical evolution of Dell's critically acclaimed XPS 13. Take the Infinity Edge display, the premium build quality, and the fantastic trackpad, then blow it all up a couple inches. Let's take a look. This is a computer that feels premium through and through, weighing between 3.9 and 4.4 pounds depending on the configuration, and measuring around 0.7 inches thick. It's very easy to handle. The entire enclosure is made out of aluminum and is solid, with nearly no give or flex. Open it up and you'll see the interior is built out of carbon fiber and it looks spectacular. What you can't see is the soft touch coating they've applied, making it comfortable to type on for long periods of time. The edges of the laptop are forgivingly dull as well, mostly eliminating it digging into your wrists. The keyboard is excellent, well spaced and evenly backlit, with good key travel. It's a bit more shallow than some may expect, but we had little trouble getting used to it after not much time. On a smaller note, there is a function lock key here, something we found ourselves using again and again to swap the F key's behavior. The trackpad is all glass and is one of the best trackpads on a Windows device. The button mechanism is satisfying and scrolling performance is fantastic. Large, accurate, and supporting Microsoft's precision trackpad standard, it does pretty much everything right. Dell has included ports for USB 3A, HDMI 1.4, Thunderbolt 3 with USB 3.1, headset, SD cards, and a Kensington lock. There are also a few battery indicators, one on the side to check battery charge, and an LED on the front to show charge status. Along the front, you'll also find the speakers. The sound quality and volume are both acceptable, but the placement isn't the best. Trying to listen to music and type at the same time can make the audio lose nearly all of its high end, since your forearms will naturally cover the speakers. Opening the computer is easy enough, but don't try to open this thing one-handed. Once open though, the screen is stable and the hinge is smooth. No rocking or shaking when tapped or moved. The webcam is unfortunately placed under the screen, like on the XPS 13, but it's acceptable considering the small bezel size. Speaking of the bezel, you will see Dell's Infinity Edge technology front and center here, and we love it. Shrinking that bezel allows this 15-inch display to fit in the body of a 14-inch laptop. Dell gives you the option of a 1080p or 4K Ultra HD panel. We have the 4K panel on our review unit, and it's excellent. Contrast and viewing angles are great, and Dell went as far as ensuring that the 4K panels have full support for Adobe RGB for professional color work. Outside of that, and our reservations about the webcam and the speaker placement though, Dell really kept the XPS name strong with the design of the XPS 15. We've been using the XPS 15 for a couple weeks for everything from light usage to media editing to gaming, and it hasn't disappointed. While idle, the computer is silent and cool, something that continues even as you play some music, open some web pages, and check your email. By default, the XPS 15 comes at a 250% scaling option, but the 4K display allows for a lot of experimentation in this regard. We found our sweet spot at around 175% scaling, a good balance between icon size and usable screen space. Video and photo editing here was a pleasure as well. With screen brightness at half, we were able to get an average of 5 to 6 hours of battery life on a single charge, which is acceptable given the specs, but not astounding. The XPS 15 is highly configurable in regard to system components, but the review unit we've been using has a quad-core Core i7 6700HQ CPU, a discrete NVIDIA GTX 960M GPU, 16GB of DDR4 memory, and a 512GB PCIe SSD. Editing and rendering graphics was painless and quick, with Adobe Premiere Pro handling video smoothly with no playback lags. Color manipulation is seamless, with Adobe's built-in tools taking full advantage of the CUDA cores in the NVIDIA chip. Gaming performance is also surprisingly good. We didn't have any cutting-edge games to test with on hand, but we did fire up a copy of the original Crysis and Transformers Fall of Cybertron and didn't disappoint. Transformers held a steady 60 FPS on max settings, and Crysis on a blend of medium and high settings. Thermal management was great in both scenarios. The heat is well directed, with the keyboard, trackpad, and palm rest staying cool at all times. Most of the heat was condensed into the hinge area, the underside, and the upper left-hand corner. The fans were quick to fire up, but never really reached truly obnoxious levels unless we were doing a final render on a project, and then they quickly dropped down once it was complete. The fans have a nice hum to them, never whining or getting so shrill that we felt like we wanted to stop using the computer. And knock on wood, but we never had any system instability or crashes during our time with the computer. Along with the XPS 15 itself, we also got a couple accessories: the Dell Power Companion and their USB-C adapter. The Power Companion is about the size of the included power adapter, and it functions as an external battery pack for a number of Dell's computers, not just the XPS 15. It charges from the computer's included power adapter, has 2 different sized power out cables for different computers, and 2 USB ports to charge USB-based devices and peripherals. It even has the same light-up tip as the included power adapter, making it easy to find in the dark. The USB-C adapter is a small box designed to add support for Gigabit Ethernet, USB 3A, HDMI, and VGA through a USB-C port. It's designed with the XPS 15 in mind, but it works with any USB-C device that supports the standards. We tested with the Nexus 5X to verify, but it doesn't support video out, so we couldn't test HDMI or VGA. The Power Companion retails for $119, and the USB-C adapter for $122, so neither are cheap, but they do their jobs well. Overall, the XPS 15 is a well-built, premium computer that doesn't skimp in the areas that matter most. It is highly configurable with pricing ranging from $999 to $2,749, and can be a great device for a wide number of situations. Aside for complaints about speaker and webcam placement and okay battery life, using the XPS 15 was a pleasure, and we felt there were very few compromises for such a powerful device in such a small frame. Between the XPS 15 and the 13, Dell has 2 of the strongest Windows laptops on the market, and the 15 hits the sweet spot for power and portability.